Hi, my name is Ariana.
Hi, my name is Maricarmen, and this is Artists on Artists. What inspires you the most in your own practice? Like whether it's people, whether it's things, or an idea, what inspires you?
I think I'm most inspired by culture, not just my own culture, but I think just seeing like the cultural like similarities or like solidarities like across different communities. I think for me it's very empowering, and I think it also motivates me to like continue like with my art practice, like just to see the strength in community and culture. I feel like art is so integral to that. Like art is how we preserve our stories and our culture and our truths. And I would say definitely like community and culture. That's something that's really important to my art practice. So if you had to choose one medium to work in for the rest of your life, what would it be?
If I had to choose a medium, it's really hard because I do work in a lot of different mediums. But I think the one I always go back to is printmaking, just because I think it's really accessible, not only for me when I was just starting out as an artist, but also to teach. It's really teachable. I think anyone can do it, and it's a great way to create multiples of something. What is a routine that you have when you're completing a piece? So like, I know maybe some people listen to music, maybe you don't have like the set idea in the beginning, but you kind of go through it. Like what's kind of your routine?
Honestly, I feel like I kind of don't have a routine often, but maybe that is a routine in and of itself. Like I know some artists like there's like a goodbye kind of process, like there's like a moment of goodbye that you say to a piece, like especially like if you're selling it or but I feel like I don't really have that. I think it's during the process, like when I'm making a piece, that's when it feels like the most intense or like cathartic for me. But in terms of like an end routine, I don't think I have one, but I do listen to, like, I really like to listen to music when I work. I feel like
What do you listen to?
Oh my god. I don't know, I like very like atmospheric music. I don't know, I like a lot of like Cocteau Twins.
Okay.
A lot of their like instrumentals, like Ribbed in Veins, like that song. A lot of new wave and like post-punk. I don't know, it just gets me like in the right mood, the right moodiness.
Yeah.
So who is an artist that inspires you and why?
I think right now I feel like I always have different artists inspiring me depending on what season my practice is in, but right now I think an artist that inspires me is Patrick Martinez, which is a Mexican and Filipino artist born and raised in LA. He does a lot of structural pieces that kind of incorporate painting and bricks sometimes and neon signs and all that to really show political statements. So I think a lot of his work right now is really motivating to me. I think everything that he says in his pieces are really both inspiring and like visually really appealing. What is your favorite medium and why?
I think I'm gonna have to say it is printmaking.
Is it?
Yeah, it is printmaking because like you said, I think it's great to have multiples of a piece. I feel like that trait of printmaking also allows like accessibility, and it allows artists to also like engage in like community organizing. Like if you're trying to like spread awareness about something, like it's really great to be able to have those multiples so that the message can get out to many communities, not just one. It's also just like it's like an ancestral practice that so many communities have been doing, and I think I'm just really fascinated by that history that's tied to printmaking. So I think I'd have to say it's printmaking too. Yeah.
Twins.
Yeah.
Cool. Awesome.
So one thing that we do to start off the day is
Oh my god, I'm very nervous, Kevin.
You said you're nervous?
Yeah, I'm really nervous. I don't do good on the spot. I feel like I just blank out. It's like Patrick when he's like,
Yeah.
My name is Ariana Bettis. My pronouns are she, her, hers. And I'm an artist. I love to make art. I'm very passionate about visual art, but also I do embroidery and I make beadwork as well. So those are some of my creative passions. I think what drew me to this program was, well, I think the prompt, like, where do we go from here? I felt like that was a very like general, open-ended question, and I like that there was a lot of room to answer that, like in a very personal way. And also I liked the idea of like being a part of a cohort with other artists that, you know, I could potentially collaborate with and build connections with too. I think it's like important to build that kind of creative community. Yeah, well, I mean, I think for a good majority of my life, like since childhood, art has always been like an outlet for me. So it's in a ways, it's almost like nostalgic for me, and it's just very personal. I feel like creating art is like very intimate for me, and it is a way that I'm able to, I think, process my own emotion. Well, I think right now I'm really interested in creating artwork like centered around the concept of memory, and how memory is connected to culture. So I've been asking myself like a lot of questions, like why is it important to remember? Like why do we as human beings like take the time to learn history, right? Like yeah, I'm really like fascinated with the concept of memory and how that ties to culture. But right now I kind of want to focus on printmaking, but how I can also like potentially do like mixed media. So like printmaking and maybe incorporating that with like embroidery or beadwork. And I kind of want to experiment with those mediums. I think for me, like being an Indigenous artist, I do see, like, I envision a future where, you know, like collective liberation is like at the forefront, and I dream of a world where everyone's free of like systems of like domination and oppression. That's really important to me as an artist. I think dreaming up worlds that exist outside of capitalism and that exist again outside of these systems of like domination. Yeah, that's something that I'm really passionate about, and that it's really important for me to like address those things, like both within my art but also like talk about it outside of my art as well. And yeah, where do we go from here? I think sorry, I'm kind of stumbling. I think I answered the question. Yeah. Sorry.
That's a good answer.
Okay.
But I think we don't talk about that enough, where, you know, we want to be able to, you know, seek out community. And I think one way to do that is like through art. But I think a lot of ways, like, we talk about a lot of really heavy topics when it comes to art. I think people will interpret it in the way that they do, but I feel like that's always kind of like our goals, you know, as artists, is like, how do we, you know, bring this to the forefront? How do we, you know, engage in this conversation? How do we also educate people and make it accessible for them? So I feel like that's a really good response to that. Yeah.
I think one thing I hope people take away from my artwork is just that, you know, that there is like a possibility for like living in a different world. You know, again, where like oppression doesn't like reign over any community. You know, where hierarchy is not existent. I feel like a lot of my work does pertain to like thinking about like decolonization in terms of the past, present, and future, and how like those three things connect. So I hope that people, can maybe feel hope and just inspired that there is absolutely like room for another world, and we can work together towards a different world that we all want to live in, like collectively, where we're free and where art is at the forefront. I feel like art is sometimes on the back burner.
My name is Maricarmen Solis. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm an artist. I think my favorite mediums are primarily, I do painting. I like doing a lot of prints, like printmaking, because it's easy to tell a story with prints, murals, and I actually really like performance, which is weird, but it's another way I like to tell stories. So this program, Creatives in Residence, I think will help give me a space to be able to create again. I haven't had a studio in about 3 years, and I think it'll be a great place to make art and to tell a little bit more about my practice. I think specifically during college, because I went to school almost 3,000 miles away from home, homesickness really became a big part of my mental health while I was away at college. So it was really difficult to be fully there, be fully present when I was going to school. And I think as an artist and being in my art classes and my professors being really supportive for me, not only through my art but also just directly being mentors, art has helped me kind of get rid of that homesickness and be connected again with my family and also like my city, even though I was far. So yeah, art's been a big help. I want people to know that art can be really fun and really creative, but it's also a really impactful way to say something. I think it's been around for a long time to be able to create change or make a statement. So I want people to know that it's not just, it doesn't have to be something just kind of boring or something for fun. Like, you can definitely create change with art, and you can make people and people's lives a lot better with art.